We have to take care of business. What is Hungarian for Trump won and you know it?
Trump nyert, mi megmondtuk.
Very fantastic. That's great. By the way, we've had 4 CPAC Hungaries, or we will have
That's
a 4th
Yeah, the
coming
4th.
up in May. Is everyone invited?
Yes, you have standing invitation.
Come.
Please come and visit us. Budapest is safe and sound.
Safe and sound. It's amazing how when we first started collaborating with each other and with the center and with Miklos and the whole gang, people inside of government, people outside of government, everyone said, why would you go to Hungary? And then I read the Washington Post. I didn't know this. Apparently your prime minister is like a dictator or something. I didn't realize this. And then he was like a fascist dictator who rigged elections. And that's what I was told. And I remember telling one of these reporters, I think it might have been at the Washington Post, I was like, wait a minute, I'm always reading that you say you can't rig elections, and now you can rig elections. How did all that disinformation transform into the fact now people look at Viktor Orbán and say he's in many ways the leader of Europe?
I mean, first of all, the liberals are doing the same with everyone. They did the same with...
You mean lying?
Yeah, lying. With your president, they did the same with everybody who is opposing their power structures. That's how things look like. And second, if you represent the truth as a politician, and as it is done by my prime minister, then time is on your side. It means that it will turn out that your decisions, even if those were criticized heavily by the liberal institutions, and they did everything to destroy you, like we were dictators, fascists, Putin's puppets, whatsoever, but time is on your side, and it proves that you were wrong during all time. And that was the case with the migration, when we were saying that letting in hundreds and hundreds of thousands of illegal migrants to Europe and to our country, it's not a good idea. So we should do the other way around. And we were the only ones who asked the people. Migration wasn't an issue in Hungary. So we thought we were thinking about that. Oh, we don't have legitimacy. What decisions should be made? So let's ask the people. And we asked the people. We organized national referendum, and obviously overwhelming majority, even those who are disagreeing with the government, were saying no to illegal migration. And then we stopped it, and then we canceled it. And the same with the war. Same with the war. President Trump is right. As it was said by my prime minister, this war has to end because it brings us nowhere. It's crazy. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people are dying, and everybody takes it like
And your prime minister, from the very beginning of this war, reached out to Joe Biden and said, let's find a way to end this war. He was on this immediately, but the Biden administration was uninterested.
He was the one who started the peace mission. He said that, look, guys, if we want to end this conflict, we need to reopen the communication channels. How do you want to make a peace if you're not having communication with the other side? It's impossible. So if somebody is saying then that he is working for peace but not having communication with the other side, he's a liar.
That's right.
He's a liar. Don't believe them. Only those people take seriously peace efforts who are ready to engage and negotiate. And what happened? Only as a news, it's a small news, negotiations started immediately, energy prices went down, stock markets went up. There is again hope. So important. Communication is important. Peace talks are hard, but communication is important.
So there's this special relationship with Donald Trump and Viktor Orbán, which is multidimensional. Two amazing guys, very different guys. I think the Western press tries to act like they're the same. They have some similar characteristics, strength, endurance, same policies, but they're different in a lot of ways too, right? I think the one thing that is the most the same is this idea of kind of getting kicked out of power, even though I don't think Donald Trump got kicked out. That's my view. I'm sure I'll get canceled from someone for saying that. I don't think he ever got kicked out. But he had this ability to come back and win the White House. Viktor Orbán lost power, gained power, That's something they have in common. Matter of fact, I talked to your prime minister on one of my trips, and I said, you're the one guy in the earth who can tell Donald Trump how you do this.
Yes, that's true. My prime minister is the longest serving leader in Europe, but also the longest serving in opposition. And I think it's also important. If you serve your country, there are different positions where you can, where and how you can do it. And I think there is one similarity between Trump and Orbán. They both love their nations.
Yeah.
And this is crucial.
Yeah.
Nations are obviously different. Like Hungary is a small country. It's an old country, a 1,000-year-old country. United States is a big country, but in different geography, different history, different culture. But if you like your country and you are ready to act in accordance of the interest of your country, then you are doing a proper job. If you're not doing that, then you are a bad politician.
That's right. And one of the other similarities is, as you all know, the story of Donald Trump and CPAC is, before I was even elected chairman, he wanted to meet, he wanted to talk about how we could collaborate. He always understood that he was going to work around kind of the establishment systems and work with different kinds of allies. And one of the things your prime minister said to us in this wonderful lunch we have, which will remain off the record, don't worry. That's one of the great things about being around a long time as you follow those rules, is he explained that one of the reasons he lost power was because he didn't have any allies. He didn't have any allies in the media. He didn't have any allies in nonprofits. All the major Soros-funded institutions in Hungary were doing the dirty deeds against him. And he realized he needed to set up institutions and organizations that could help tell the truth. And I think Donald Trump has understood that well, too, by using social media, by being a good partner with CPAC and other conservative groups. You agree with this?
I agree with you. I think the Western world is healing. And we are like national conservatives, if I may call ourselves that way. So it means that we want to save our nation. And we want to see our nation thrive. This is our goal. This is why we engage in public life. But if we want to save our nations, we have to cooperate, because the liberals, they do cooperate. They have an enormous power structure.
Well-funded.
Well-funded, USAID and other organizations were using American taxpayers.
Okay, so let me just stop you. On behalf of the American taxpayer, we apologize to the good people of Hungary that our government tried to destabilize Orbán and the good leaders in Europe. We're sorry.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. But unfortunately, Brussels...
Nobody in this room had anything to do with it, I want you to know that.
Brussels...
Well, maybe some on the way back, but not the rest of us.
Brussels is doing the same, so it's our job to kick them out.
Yeah.
It's like ridiculous. Hungarian people voted against illegal migration, and what is happening? Brussels is using legal sanctions against us. We have to pay 1 million euros.
So they're bribing, basically blackmailing your government.
Crazy.
Just because you want to have a border. They're saying we're not going to hold back on the revenue you should be getting from the EU. Every day, the amount of money the EU owes you grows.
Yeah, every day, 1 million euro we have to pay. But compared to the other option that we let everybody in and we let to have a country which is destroyed, it's the better option. So this is the reason in the long term we need a change. We need a change not just in Washington, but in Brussels as well. Europe liberal elites, they are the most isolated people now, because they are isolated themselves from Trump, and the new administration isolated themselves from Russia, isolated themselves from China, and they are desperate. But for this reason, they are dangerous, and they are ready to do anything to crush their opponents. So we will not let it happen.
Don't let it happen. Don't let it happen. Okay, so I think we have some great titles in some of our talks. Do you know why I think they're great? Because I came up with some of them, so let me just bask in a tiny little bit of my glory. But there was this concept in America that we needed to have a truce on social issues. We shouldn't talk about questions like when life begins, what is marriage, what is gender, all that stuff. Let the teachers handle it in the schools. And as a party, what we should do is just try to lower taxes, lower regulations. And over time, I think Donald Trump, who's not necessarily a culture warrior, understood that it was questions of immigration, questions of families, question of the continuation of our society that were paramount. Viktor Orbán realized this when he came back to power. One of the most amazing things he has done with his party is try to change all these government regulations so that people want to get married. People want to have kids. There's little Hungarian babies in mother's arms. And you're not going to have a country if your people don't, right, have kids.
Yeah.
And this idea that you're going to bring in all these migrants to be the next generation in Hungary is something you guys reject.
So in general, the idea of liberal democracy, that the state is not interfering in any of the aspects of the private life, it sounds to be a good idea, because we all are freedom-loving people and we like freedom and we don't want to stay at our courtyard. But in reality, what happened, the left used this argumentation to overtake the institutions, and the liberal state was interfering into the private matters. They were saying that...
Once again, are you saying they were lying? They were acting like they were neutral, but they weren't neutral.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
And I think many more conservatives are starting to realize that if these things are important for us, it's not about freedom. Everybody can do what they want. But if somebody wants to have a family, somebody wants to have a marriage, somebody wants to have a kids, then we need a state, we need a functioning institutional system which is not treating her as a criminal, but is treating her as a loyal, normal citizen.
I think they view her as a polluter. Going to bring another human being into the earth and add to the landfills. They view it as a negative.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's crazy.
It's a nightmare, and this nightmare has to be stopped. This is what we are doing in Hungary for like 15 years. We're trying to create an environment which maintain freedom of decision for everyone, but also it advocates some policies. We have a proper family policy. Churches are not prosecuted. They are welcomed in Hungary. Woke agenda is out of schools, out of media, and I'm very happy to see that America is turning to that direction as well. And congratulations to you again.
So what we're really saying is big government ends up subsidizing all the activities for our young people that are counterproductive to society continuing. They're encouraging drugs, giving out free needles, encouraging them to be on their parents' health care until they're like, 47 years old now? Like, nobody gets to grow up at all. And in Hungary, you said, okay, well, if the government's going to subsidize all these things that we don't want to encourage more of, what if we actually use the government system to subsidize what we want? And you did it through tax cuts. So if a mom decides, by the way, I don't think we should force anybody to be a parent. It's really hard to be a parent. The last thing you want to do is have people being parents who are really angry that they're being parents. But like you said, if you want to be a parent, have a kid, you get a tax cut in Hungary.
Yeah,
here we give you almost like a tax increase.
If you have four children, you don't pay any income taxes.
For the rest of your life?
Rest of your life. And we are planning to increase it. Children with 3, and we will see.
What if your child's name is Hunter Biden? Do you still get a tax cut, or does that... is there like an appellate process where maybe you could put a little taxes on that kid?
Every life counts.
Okay, fair enough. It's a good answer. Okay, so you're here in America. It's a long trip from Hungary. By the way, how many people have been to Budapest or to Hungary? How beautiful was it? How safe was it? Amazing, right? Okay, the Balázs are like, they're Polish, but even they are like the Hungarians.
We have beautiful people, beautiful architecture, good food, conservative safe space. That's also important for many people. Come and visit us.
So you've come all this way to America. You're one of the top advisors to a leader that the people here in this room really respect, the people around the country respect, Viktor Orbán. You're in the middle of everything now, trying to stop a war, trying to change what Brussels tries to do to ruin people's lives. What's your message for America? Do you feel hope about how our collaboration, starting with CPAC, moving on to Orbán and Trump, how this collaboration can change the world?
I think my message would be America is back, is a good news, and don't rely on the liberals and don't count on the liberals. You have your friends all around the world, and if you find your friends, work with them together and save the Western civilization together. This would be my message.
Are you up to the challenge? Balázs, Orbán, thank you for being with us at CPAC. Thanks for the important work you do. And thanks for making Hungary great.
Thank you. God bless.